Good morning, welcome to Mountain Bear Outdoors. Today you're at my home. As promised, I'm going to do a video on the contents that goes in my preparedness bag that lives in the boot of my car. It literally stays in there all the time. It is an encumbrance because it does take up a bit of extra shopping space, but it stays in there if I need to use it. So this is the bag in question. This is a Bear Grylls 20 litre rucksack. The reason I went for the Bear Grylls bag is because of the price. It was cheap. It doesn't look too tactical and over the top, so it's probably not going to get a second glance in day-to-day use. Obviously you don't want to advertise the fact that you're carrying potential survival equipment. People do tend to get a little bit crazy when they're in the same sort of situation, and they might try and rob you for it. So I'll just get into the bag then. I'll just angle my camera a little bit. There we go. Sorry about this, I'm still using my short tripod. Okay, so at the moment in the front I've got nothing in the front. There's this section here is empty as well. I'll show you why. This top section is also empty. The reason it's empty is because I've sort of compartmentalised everything anyway. So something really basic. It's a layer of warm clothing. This is just a Craghoppers fleece top. Nothing really much to say about this, but it just stays in there. If you suddenly need a warm layer, you've got one. There's always one on hand. This large monstrosity here, this does take up a hell of a lot of space in the bag. This is a dry bag. Within the dry bag, if I just unroll it, I've got, I won't dig out because it's a pain to get back in. This is a large military tarp. This is a genuine British Army tarp, so it's good quality. So you've got a couple of ridge lines tied onto it. One thing we were taught in the army is to use bungees. So what I've done is literally, I've got my bungee on there. I've actually bent the hook so it stays on the corner. The reason being, when you pitch up in the army, you've got to get your basher up as quickly as you possibly can. So it's a case of wrap it around the tree, get it low to the ground, and you've got seconds, a couple of minutes to get it done. That's why we use bungees. It's quick, it's efficient. Obviously bungees do degrade over time, so just one to bear in mind. But if you need to get something up quick, just chuck it around the tree, the bungee, and lock it in. Also in the bottom there is a hammock as well to get you off the ground. Obviously the ground's going to sap the heat off your body a lot faster than being up in the air. With the hammock, obviously it's got the tie-on straps. What I've done is cut the straps, and I've linked a carabiner onto both ends, a weight-bearing carabiner. So again, you just wrap one side of the strap around the tree, carabiner it on, no knots, no messing about in the dark. Nice and easy. So this, move it back. Okay, this is what I used to carry in my car. I've now expanded and I've got the hammock, the extra clothing. This is a British Army ammunition pouch / grenade pouch. You can get them dead cheap, around about 10 quid down the army surplus. So if we just let's start from the left hand side. Again, you've got to think about cost versus usability. You don't want to spend a fortune on kit that you're never going to use, or possibly never going to use and never need, but at the same time it's got to be of sufficient quality that if you do need to use it, it's not going to be a waste of time. So right off the bat, 4 AAA batteries. Think about it in the cold. Batteries do die when it gets cold. If it's sat in the car, they're not going to last a hell of a long time, so be prepared to rotate those around. In here, it's just some plastic, it's a plastic bag, some flat cotton wool pads smeared in Vaseline, folded over pancake style. These are excellent for taking a spark from fire still to get your fire started. I've got redundancy built in, so you've got some standard strike anywhere matches. I've cut the actual striker off of the box. This is a case for drill bits. I just repurposed it. Also, some proper watertight matches. These are military ones. They burn incredibly well for a very short duration of time. Again, drill bit case with some electrical tape around that to keep the moisture out. That's it for that pouch. On the bottom pouch, what have we got? Okay, I've got 3 of these, another 3 in the actual cooker. This is BCB Fire Dragon fuel. Fire Dragon fuel comes in either this form, which is it's almost like a block of soap. It's like solid gel, alcohol based. You can clean your hands with this stuff, cleanse your hands. What you do is you just pop it out of the packet, put it in the stove, light it. Very, very easy to get lit. So we've got 3 in there. Moving on to the front. I've got a couple of these. This is the BCB stove itself. Really, really inexpensive. And you can store fuel in the stove. You see you've got space for 3 extra tabs there. Happy days. You've seen the demo on the BCB stove before. The fuel tabs are more expensive in the solid form. The liquid gel stuff is a lot cheaper. I got some tabs on order from eBay. These are the ex-military ones, so I got a better deal on those. Next on the agenda then. This is all quite tightly packed in. There we go. Okay, you can pick these up anywhere. Very, very inexpensive. Around about £2 or £3. This is a Highlander survival bag. Basically, it's just a very large, thick bin bag, which will double up as a sleeping bag. It's bright orange, so it's obviously easy to see. It's multi-purpose. You can cut it and make a tarp out of it. However, you're then knackered because you've not got a sleeping bag. Definitely worth a punt at £2 or £3. One always stays in my bag when I'm out walking. You never know, you might fall down, break a leg. Okay, this is absolutely hideous. This is a cheap rain poncho. You can get these 6 for £5 or whatever on Amazon. They're very, very inexpensive. They're very thin, so just go careful when you put them on. They're not fantastic, but you know, if you hold up someone, you know, you can look after it. It might keep the rain off. One shot use. Once you've used it, you could probably fold it up again, but to be honest, one use, get it in the bin, get rid of it. Okay, moving on. Spoon if you need to eat something. So you've got the BCB Ultimate Survival Kit. There's a few items in there that are useful. You've got fire starters, candles, a few other odds and sods. Don't think this is going to save your arse. It's got a few bits that are catalysts to survival, a few things that might help, but if you just left that in the car, you'd probably be wanting more. I did a separate review on the BCB Survival Kit. It's not the best. Okay, so down the end, what have we got? Okay, so we've got an old Sunto compass with a peed whistle. The reason that's in there is because, well, you know, you can get more expensive whistles, night cores and so on and so forth. You'll pay £30. This is just an Acme Thunderer whistle my dad gave me with an old compass. You're not going to put your most expensive kit and leave it in the boot of the car forever. Seems a bit of a waste of money. Okay, then this is just a generic torch I picked up from B&Q. It's an LED. It takes AA batteries because they're by far the easiest to get hold of. What I do, you can see it's not switching on. I actually reverse the batteries on the torch. So I put one of them in reverse polarity so the torch can't turn on. So if it gets knocked in the car, it's not going to switch on. So you just preserve your batteries. This one's always going to be a bit of a bone of contention for people. A multi-tool. This is a work zone one. You're thinking, where's your Leatherman? The reason I don't put Leatherman to my car is because the blades lock open. In the UK, it's illegal to have anything with a blade that locks open. The work zone one you can pick up from Aldi. Now and again they go in the tool section. They're about £8.99. If you go onto Amazon, you can compare this in just a second. I'll get out the pouch. The Amazon Stanley Tool branded one, I kid you not, is identical, absolutely identical in every way apart from the branding. So this is just a very basic. It's not going to be hugely strong, but you've got a set of spring-loaded pliers, you've got some saws, screwdrivers, can openers. It's not special. It's not, you know, in no way is it going to outlast a Leatherman or a Gerber or whatever. Having said that, it was £8.99. It stays in the boot of the car. There's not an awful lot to go wrong with it for the price. So for £8.99 you've got yourself a multi-tool with no lock-in blades. That's important. No lock-in blades. You're going to have a hell of a job explaining that one in court if you're found to be carrying lock-in blades in your car. So there you have it. Okay, getting near to the end now. Let's just have a quick look in the main body of the grenade mag pouch thing. The reason it's in this is so it's easy to find what you're looking for. If you're rootling around in the dark, it might be difficult to see what you're looking at. So we have a source. We've got a this is a Dutch military canteen with the water bottle that goes with it. It's virtually the same sort of construction style as the current NATO Osprey water bottle. It's very, very strong. This was manufactured by Avon. I've left the top off. Leave the top off. If you put the top on, things tend to grow inside your water bottles, and they're little green furry horrible stuff, mould and that growing in there. So the cup's like US GI canteen style. I picked this up from the army surplus, including the bottle, for about 10 quid. You don't need to spend a fortune. You know, the Bear Grylls cup and water bottle set's about 40 quid. It's just aluminium. You know, the construction's no better. It's just got some fancy paint on it and Bear Grylls logo on it. So save yourself a bit of money. Well, last but not least, cordage. Never underestimate cordage. So you've got some cheap green nylon rope there. You've also got some, this is 550 paracord by a company called Wild Elk. Very, very strong. I've used it for a lot of things. So that lives in my car. All of this stuff just lives in my car. Chances are I'll never need it. So there's been a few occasions where I've needed a multi-tool. People have asked me, have you got anything in the car? And yeah, generally speaking, I have. So, it's like I said earlier, it's always a trade-off. Don't spend a fortune on stuff that you're probably never going to use, but at the same time, it's got to be of sufficient quality to get you home. So I hope you found the video useful. If you've got any comments or suggestions, or you want to show off anything that you actually keep in your car, please let me know. I will be adding some food to this bag. There's a company called Seven Oceans. Yeah, Seven Oceans, they make survival biscuits. They're NATO-ish, you know, I believe, in some survival packs like lifeboat rafts and that. So I'll be getting some of those biscuits. They've got a 5-year shelf life on them, a lot of calories. They also do pouches of water as well, which are good for 5 years, little sachets of water. You never know, winter's coming. People do get stuck on the roads in the snow in the UK. People get stuck on the motorways, and you know, 12, 13 hours sat in the car with no food and no sort of creature comforts is going to be a pain in the arse. So I hope you found the video useful, and I'll see you soon.